Hey everybody, this is Johnny Gioeli from Hardline, Axel Rudy Pell, Crush 40, and so many other projects. 95 albums. Can you believe that? But you're watching me right here on CMS TV. Rock out, people.
All right. Well, moving along here.
All right.
Last night you sent me a link or
Yes.
mentioned to me that there's a short series on Netflix, a new short series, a docu-series. It's 4 episodes. And the name of it was called Bad Vegan.
That's right.
And so after once you sent me that
the link.
Well, not the link, but just said Netflix Bad Vegan.
I didn't even tell you anything. I just said here.
So I was just wrapping up watching something else, and I thought, okay, I'm just gonna get a drink and I'm gonna flip over and watch this now.
Right.
And again, this goes back to something you talked about in the first hour about how easily are people scammed.
Oh, ridiculous.
Well, what it boils down to is a entrepreneur gal. How old would you say she was? This all took place like over the last 10 years. This was way back in like 2010, right?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, she was, what was she, like 32? I think they said when this happened.
Okay. So she was out of her 20s.
Yeah.
But she had something going on where she got involved with a vegan style restaurant and was able to build a brand with a up and coming chef, a guy that chef kind of guy. And as things go with the reality TV and stuff, these cooking shows or these chef shows got to be pretty popular, and some people made their claim to fame by appearing on these shows and
right.
Making a splash in the culinary arts industry.
Sure.
And she latched on to one of these guys, and together they built up a restaurant in New York City that featured this guy.
Yeah.
And things kind of got a little a little bit of tension between she and the chef, and basically the chef ended up getting the boot.
Yeah, they booted him out and just kept on going without him.
But she was kind of a dynamic personality. What is her name? Sienna? Or
was it Sharma?
Sharma
or something like that? What was her name?
Sharma.
Yeah. Bad Vegan. Forget what her name is. It is Sarma Melganis.
Sarma. Well, anyway, attractive girl. Was getting the attention of Hollywood elite type people. Along with the social media, people twittering about their experience at what was her name? What was it called? Something in Wine.
Pure Food and Wine.
Yeah, Pure Food and Wine was the restaurant in New York, and it was kind of a boutique place, and it caught the attention of celebrities would go there, and they would talk about their experience at this at this restaurant. And as soon as celebrities start endorsing a restaurant, everybody wants to go there.
Yeah.
Well, if Alec Baldwin said it was good, it must be good,
right?
So let's go there. And she, granted, she worked it and, was there, and she became a presence, and she sort of became the brand, the face of the brand, and became recognizable.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing that she really lucked out on. The guy that owned the restaurant, I couldn't believe that this restaurant, when she took it over, it was $2 million in debt.
Why couldn't you believe that?
Well, the thing is when you're that far in debt, especially in such a small, restaurant, and this goes back to the expense of living in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
But $2 million, most people in any other part of the world, they would go, I gotta throw in the towel and file bankruptcy.
Oh yeah.
But this financier guy who owned this restaurant and invested in it, $2 million apparently to him was not just a drop in the bucket, meant nothing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And because of this girl being what she is, when she's all dolled up, I mean, she's an attractive girl, but when she's all dolled up, she's kind of a sharp looking chick.
Yeah, sure.
This guy sells her the restaurant just for the debt. Says,
right.
I'll sell you the restaurant. No cash is exchanged here. It's just like the restaurant's $2 million in debt. The debt is yours as well as the restaurant. Yeah. So now you're going to have to pay me off. Well, here's the difference between a normal person who has debt on a business and this girl.
Okay.
The guy was not pressing her to make monthly payments. Right. He would just take money whenever she had it to give him. So she wasn't under the gun like, oh my God, I got to cover my monthly nut this month and pay this debt service. It's just like, well, I got 20,000 this month. Here's 20,000 against that debt. Here's 100,000 against that debt.
Yeah, so he was being remarkably cool, really.
He was, and that's the whole thing. That's the she lucked out getting a deal like that to where he wasn't hounding her at the end of the month to be paid X amount of dollars.
Right.
He let her take that restaurant over, work it, try to make it successful, and whatever she could possibly pay him, he would just accept it. But he wasn't at her door every month knocking on the door. Hey, where's my 100,000 debt service?
Right.
So that was a lucky break for her as far as a business owner is concerned.
Sure.
She had a restaurant that was established. It was up and running. It started getting some traction as far as social media and getting some attention from the celebrity crowd and so on and so forth. And had she stayed that course and not got all wonky with this goofy dude, I'm sure she probably would have been a multi-millionaire with numerous franchise restaurants or other locations around the world, because other people were courting her to bring her brand to other parts of the world.
Yeah, she had it all and just blew it.
Yeah. So the story goes, and here's the question, and maybe you know this answer, maybe I missed something here. Alec Baldwin played somewhat of a role in this, in the beginning of her meeting the dude that basically scammed her.
Yeah.
This guy, how do you think he got Alec Baldwin's attention via the social media, the Twitter or whatever? They're twittering back and forth like they're friends and they're like familiar with each other. Or,
yeah.
What do you think the connection was there?
Dude, those celebrities glom onto anybody that's getting attention. The celebrity need for fame and to be into the hip society or whatever is how that guy got in. That guy had a shit ton of followers. What they say, he had like 50 or 60,000 followers, and a lot of them were famous people. He was kind of like influencer guy, sorta.
Yeah, but what was his claim to fame?
Same as Kim Kardashian, famous for being famous.
But the guy that scammed her?
I didn't fully understand it either. I mean, it could be as simple as this guy just messaged through a meme that Alec Baldwin liked, and he threw him hey, thanks, Alec, I love you in movies, and then they started chatting. I don't know. Yeah,
that part I didn't quite grasp. Like, what is it that this guy did to get Alec Baldwin's attention and make it seem as if they were friends in some regard, to where she was convinced that, well, if he's a friend of Alec, he must be a good dude or something, or
Yeah, I don't know. They
that
weren't clear on that.
that was the whole weird thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were not clear at all on that.
Mm-hmm. So this chick, single girl, supposedly lonely, boy, she had an obsession with that dog.
Yeah, that was, she probably licked his balls or something. That's a guess, but
Well, she had a dog, and the way that they played up this thing is that this girl she was a workaholic, and her main concern was this restaurant and launching another brand of what did they call it? Lucky Duck?
One Lucky Duck,
One Lucky Duck,
like a convenience store or something.
Yeah, well, it was like a Whole Foods type store.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she was launching another branch of another franchise, based on vegan food and natural stuff and all that. And, she was working that angle. She was getting some traction and getting some attention, and people were paying attention to her. And she probably would have done really well, but then she gets hooked up with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy scams her into believing he's like some kind of a mysterious black ops guy.
She, for as smart as she was at business, was a moron everywhere else.
Yeah, when it came to just social etiquette or just or street smarts.
And she made this point, so it's not me just railing against her, but I'm going to take her point and say she's 100% right. One, she was terribly stupid with this guy.
Yeah, of course.
But the other part was she made the point that all vegans are kind of stupid when it comes to reality. And she was so right about it. When they were talking about that this guy, let's be clear about what she saw in this guy. Mm-hmm. One, he was allegedly black ops guy.
Mm-hmm.
But two, he also had some kind of mystical power that was convincing her that she could give her dog eternal life.
Well, this guy convinced her that he was not of this earth.
Yes.
That he was of some higher being.
Yes.
And that he could help her transition into being a higher being as well.
Right. And she bought this bullshit.
It was very cult-like in what he did to convince her of this. It was just like, I'm not of this earth, or, I've traveled through time and I'm here now, and you're the one I've been searching for eons. And now I'm here, and now you're here, and I'm taking you as my queen, and all this other.
It was so, and what was it? They in previous life had all been together, and they were husband and wife in a previous life, and the dog had a previous life. And I mean, it was like, what the hell?
Yeah. And then again, just like the Tinder swindler,
mm-hmm.
he was able to lead her to believe that he was a man of means, that he was very wealthy.
Yeah.
That he had millions and millions of dollars of cash and houses and properties, and had diamonds. just owned tons of shit.
Yeah. Well, he must have had some of it, but God knows where he got it from.
Well, I think what he did was exactly like the Tinder swindler.
Had a few people that
he had a few people that were believing his line of bullshit, and he was tapping into other people. Well, It was just like what was he, like Polish or Russian, or that other guy? That other guy gave him like 100,000 in cash over time. He gave him like 35 grand the first time, and then he gave him additional money. And this is the question I have about when it came to her mother sending this guy money and her giving this guy money and these other guys. These people, where do they get all this liquid currency?
See, that's another thing I don't get. That's a lot of coin, man.
It is a lot of coin, and it's they don't talk about. I don't know if they're if they have like a IRA or a 401k but where did these people get all this liquid cash that they're just wiring all this money? I mean, they're sending 10,000, 14,000, 30,000 at a time. It's just like, where is all this liquid cash? These people have done well for themselves if they got that kind of money just to be wiring to some guy because he says he needs it.
Yeah, I don't get it. And again, it's money that we can't relate to because we don't make that kind of money. But in that world, I guess that's not a lot of money. It just, if I've learned anything, it's that 10, 20, $50,000 in those circles doesn't mean a lot. It's
apparently not.
It's like me and you with $500.
Yeah.
We might throw each other $500 here or there, but we ain't throwing 50,000.
Yeah. But see, here's the thing that doesn't make any sense. And this goes back to the Tinder swindler as well as this. These guys who are supposedly rich, that play the rich part, that they have millions of dollars. It just doesn't make any sense how they ask them to send me money. I'm worth millions of dollars, but you need to wire me $50,000. It's like, you're rich. Why do you need 50,000 from me?
Well, because we can't show transactions because I'm a black ops agent.
But that is the weirdest goddamn thing. That Tinder swindler guy, he was always in danger. He was always in danger and had to buy his life from these dangerous people if he got caught, and he needed these chicks to wire him money because he was in danger. Well, this guy's the same way. He was in danger all the time. He was going to get gutted or something was going to happen to him, and you've got to send me your money. Wire me 30,000. I got to have it. Otherwise, I'm dead by nightfall.
Yeah. Oh, I better do it then.
And they did.
They all did. They're all dumb. They're all dumb.
Just and the fact that he not only did he have her on the hook and having her wire X amount of dollars to him, once he got involved with her family, especially her mother, he was able to play her mother just the same way. Hey, I need 20 grand today. Could you wire that before the end of the day? Yeah, no problem.
She's like, oh, okay, no problem. Let me do that.
Yeah. So, but the weird thing is when she was suspicious, and here's the other thing, and I know it was that, again, I can't remember what his nationality is, whether he was from Poland or the Ukraine or somewhere, but I was wondering because they were playing all these phone call discussions, these voice discussions, and I go, well, who had the presence of mind to record these conversations?
Yeah, that was a whole other. She knew she was getting fucked and she did it anyway.
Yeah, and she was recording the conversations. I just find that weird that this story develops, but yet all this backup. Here's and I want to go back to something I said a while back. It seems like some people are preordained to have a documentary made about them, because there is so many photos, there's so many recordings, there's so many this, that, and the other. Without all that backup media, there would be no story. Yeah. I mean, the story would be there, but it's more exciting because you actually get a peek into the actual photos or the videos or the recordings or this. How many recordings do you have?
Of what?
Conversations just with people.
Well, the only thing, none, but the only thing I can think of, and this might be the case in this person's case, seemed like they used all the bullshit. Like it seemed like they weren't necessarily just using phones. Seemed like they were using like Skype or WhatsApp or, that kind of shit. And that does leave a trace. So they might have, like, through subpoenas, gotten their phone conversations or whatever, from like Google or whatever, if they're using like Google Meet or something.
It's the weirdest thing. And here's the other thing that just grates on me. The constant photos of yourself.
Oh, yeah.
the hundreds and hundreds of photos.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody just goes around snapping photos of themselves all goddamn day long.
Mm-hmm. Well, dude, they showed her walking down the street holding a selfie stick while she was allegedly exercising. She literally was walking down the street. Did you see the one? She's walking down the street. She's in exercise gear, and she had her arm out like this. It was her holding a selfie stick so she could videotape herself.
Yeah, but the thing is they flash so many of these selfies.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, what do? Do you sit there taking pictures of yourself all day long? Well, here's me and the dog. Here's me laying in the bed. Here's me in the bathtub. Well, here's me in the car.
Yeah.
Here's me sitting on a park bench. Well, here's me sitting at a table at the restaurant. Well, here's me with me and whatever the fuck that guy's name was. Well, here's me and it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, well, dude, that's what they do. That's why they're influencers.
Yeah, I know, but the average person on some stupid Facebook, they do the same thing all day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're right. They do. See that? It's just the culture now. You're surprised by it because you don't live that culture, but that is the culture.
But the narcissism of that is just unbelievable.
That is, dude, you're literally just defining social media in a nutshell. Narcissistic behavior.
Oh man. Cause I was involved with someone a few years ago that they did that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the time. The minute we got in the car, click. The minute we get out of the car to go somewhere, click. So so that's,
dude, I used to do it. I'm not gonna tell you I didn't. When I was real active on social media, I didn't go anywhere without taking a fucking picture.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was always taking pictures or fucking video or whatever. Now it's like, I really don't give a fuck who knows where I'm at.
Yeah.
But it's addictive. I mean, look, I'm not trying to justify it. I'm not. It's a fucking horrible behavior. And I'll be the first one to admit that I engaged in this horrible behavior. But it is addictive, man. It is, I forget what they say. It's like the endorphins opening up or something when you get likes. And, so there's something about, hey, look where I am. I'm at the fucking Seven Dust concert. And then you get 10 likes or something in like 10 minutes. And you're like, oh, look at that. Fucking people wish they were me. It's a subconscious bullshit thing, but it is true. I mean, it is the great evil. It's the great evil.
Yeah, I know. It's just unbelievable. It's just the fact that they were flashing through all these photos. And it's just like, when do you have time in your day to take so many pictures?
I guess if you're holding a selfie stick in one hand and doing your job in the other, you got all day to do it.
It's just fucking bizarre, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, and here's the other thing is when she kind of was under the, knew that this guy was taking her for money. And how many times did she say you just expect me to wire you money whenever you ask? And he goes, oh, is that where we're at now, that you're putting money over the value of money over our relationship?
Oh, okay.
It's like, yeah, she's like, you're draining me dry, dude.
Yeah. But of course but then she would do it anyway.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Look, you can't fault a fucking guy for using a chick or vice versa, a chick for using a dude. You can't fault them. You got to fault the one that's giving in.
I agree.
She knew she was getting fucked over. She absolutely knew it and kept doing it.
Right. Well, here's the thing. He had such a persuasive way that whenever she questioned anything that he was asking her to do, he did the old trick that the Indians do. Start screaming and berating.
Of course.
As soon as she even stepped out of line, he would start screaming and berating her and to the point to where he would just wear her down to where it's just like, oh, okay, uncle, I give in.
Yeah. Well, she was a successful beta chick, but she was a very beta chick. She was a chick that you could probably push around easily.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. He just was like, no, you're going to give me this fucking money. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Okay. Okay. Don't yell at me. Don't hurt my feelings.
Yeah. So in the end, he drains her dry. The business goes belly up because and here's the other thing. They leave New York City. She's the one running the operation.
Yeah.
And she just up and just
I'm out of here.
abandons the whole thing, and they went to Europe.
They went to Europe, and then they went to what, Dolly World or somewhere.
Well, they went to Europe, then they came back, and then they went to Las Vegas, and they were literally there for months.
Yeah.
Months. And what it really boiled down to is this guy was a gambler. And the crux of the story is this guy, not only was he a con artist, but the reason he was a con artist was because he needed that money to gamble.
Yeah.
And he gambled millions of dollars away from everything that he took from her, everything he took from her mother, everything that he took from other people. It added up to millions of dollars, and it was just all for the purpose of gambling.
Yeah. And once again, another guy that, in the big scope of it, was worth it. What'd he do, a year?
Hardly a year, just like 10 months.
Yeah, he did 10 months in a county jail.
Yeah.
So he wasn't doing real hard time. He did 10 months in county jail and probably stole $10 million. That's win-win to me.
Yeah.
If you could be locked up for a year and come out with 10 million, would you do it? I would.
Well, yeah, I guess if you knew ahead of time that that's what your score was going to be, but he was just going to play that card until time ran out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. If he could have found 10 more million, he'd have kept right on screwing her over for it.
Of course. But the gravy train finally came to an end, and it ended in a Fairfield motel in Dollywood.
Mm-hmm.
to where they ordered Domino's pizza and wings, and they were tracking the credit card activity and knew exactly where they were hiding out, per se, as fugitives, because people were after them for fraud and things like that. And what a fucking mess, man.
It was dude. I have so many thoughts on this fucking show. Number one, even before we get into any of the fraud and any of the other stuff, this guy was a big fat guy.
Yeah, he was. He
was a fat guy. At first when they showed pictures, they kept saying he was overweight, and I was like, he don't look that overweight. I was thinking, he might be a little paunchy or whatever.
Sure.
When they showed him at the end, he's a fat guy.
Yeah, he was.
And I'm sitting here watching this thing, and I'm like, how is this rail thin girl whose whole career is based on food accepting fat guy?
Yeah.
How does that happen? That she's like accepting that fat guy is also secret agent guy. Fat guy was probably out of breath 3 pumps into her, and fucking and you're telling me that she didn't get suspicious that he's out there fighting the terrorists?
Well, she did mention that this guy was overweight and stuff, and that she was kind of turned off by him.
Yeah, but she still was banging him. She was still banging him and giving him money. He was a big fat tub of shit.
Yeah, and the reason she even married this guy was under the false premise that he was going to give her a bunch of money for her, for her business purposes. And the only way that they could do that, him giving her money without a big tax burden, was that if they were married. And she married him under false pretenses.
Yeah, which I got no sympathy for that, because she's a gold digger. So fuck off. You tried to dig for gold. Instead, you found pyrite or whatever that shit is called. You found false gold, fool's gold.
Right.
But all that part was very weird to me. The other part that was weird to me was, where was the dad to step in on the mom and say, what the fuck are you doing? They showed the dad. He's alive. He's around. They didn't really explain how dad didn't see his own savings going fucking bye-bye.
Because they were divorced.
Oh, is that what it was? They were
Yeah,
divorced?
remember her sister said that when she was little and they announced their divorce, she went in her room and hid under the covers for the
That's
whole
right.
day.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
forgot about that.
they'd been divorced for decades. So,
Yeah. I
you know,
forgot that part,
mm-hmm.
but I don't know. Just everything about this thing was bizarre. And here's the final part that I think is bizarre. She is ready to have this happen to her again.
Yeah.
She'll let the same guy fuck her over.
Well, she talked to that guy after he was
and wasn't hateful.
No, it was just like, I miss you. I can make you laugh. And I still love you and all this other shit. And she was just being fun with him.
Yeah. It was like, if that had happened to me, there'd be no fun. I'd be like, hey, where you at? I want to show you my new gun. That would be the only thing that I would want to do. I wouldn't want to tell jokes with the guy. I wouldn't want to talk to the guy. Nothing.
Yeah. Well, I guess the question is why was she even in contact with him?
Well, that I think was for the documentary. 100%. That was whoever put the documentary together said, hey, we got a phone number for this guy. Will you talk to him on camera? Guaranteed that's what happened there. She wasn't just hey, let's catch up. That was put together by the documentary people. Had to be. Because why else would she do that?
I don't know. That was bizarre.
And recorded, and they had video of her talking about it. That was totally set up for the documentary.
Of course. And, of course, the documentary, they mentioned that they reached out to him to make him part of it, and he didn't want to, comment.
Yeah. So they went the other route. They went to, just like he did. They went to the easier one and fucking said, hey, do this for us. And she said, no, I don't want to do it. Hey, do it for us. Okay. They probably bullied her into doing it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it could happen to her again. I really think the weird thing is she has an idea, and she has whatever the concept of it is. Like, I can't imagine that I would ever be into vegan food. But they showed that one guy that was like, I wish she'd get back in the business because that fucking vegan lasagna was the bomb.
Yeah, but he goes, I'm not digging into my 401k for her, though.
Yeah, but someone will.
Yes, I understand.
Somebody will say, okay, you went through a bad break. I'll take a shot at you for pennies on the dollar.
Right.
Somebody will be like, she has great ideas. I can make a lot of money on this. I'll give her a 90-10, 90 to me deal, and she'll take it. She'll take it. She'll try to rebuild it. I totally see that happening.
Well, the thing is her credibility obviously is tarnished and ruined, as far as that, just going off the deep end. But I'm sure that her, and I'm not defending her by saying this, but I'm sure she has the wherewithal to actually get back in and make something successful if she could stay on the straight and narrow.
Well, I think she's tarnished as a business leader. I don't think she's tarnished as a restaurateur at all. I think if somebody else is just doing running the business, and she's just in there making sure that the food and the imagery is right, taking the pictures and posting the shit on Instagram, then okay, there it is. Then I could see that being an avenue people would take.
I agree. So, she's going to pop back up somewhere aside from this documentary.
Yeah. Oh, the documentary is going to help her get back on her feet.
Right.
Because there's going to be somebody with a ton of money that's going to see the opportunity and is going to be like, oh, this poor girl, let's help her out. Let's give her a fresh start.
Right.
So, yeah, we'll see her again. Almost certainly.
Yep. So if you want to check out something that'll enrage you to the point where you're just like,
yeah, it was pretty fucking enraging. That's for sure. Yet another dummy that got swindled.
Yep. So anyway, check it out. It's called Bad Vegan. It's on Netflix right now.
Yep. It's worth the watch.
It is. It's the episodes are what, 45 minutes long?
Yeah, something like that. And you got to invest a few hours, 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
It is. I mean, it's well put together. That's one thing I got to give Netflix credit for is that these little docu-series things that they do put out, they're pretty well done.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, they got to do something now that they're losing all of their content that isn't original. They got to bust ass to do better content on their original content.
Sure. But I have noticed that my watching of Netflix has been pretty much centered around the docu-series when they're available.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I don't really watch that much.
I watch old stuff that I can't watch anywhere else, like basically Trailer Park Boys, because I keep watching that over and over again. And documentaries, and that's it. Every once in a while a movie, but not very often. And all the other stuff has gone, all the TV shows and stuff have gone back to where they should be with their respective channels. Whoever produced it, that's where the shit all lives now. So, yeah, Netflix is going through a transition. That's for damn sure. But yeah, and they're going to fuck themselves even harder. I saw this week that they're testing software to get people to stop sharing passwords. And that's not going to help them at all. It's not going to make more people sign up. It's going to make more people quit.
Yeah, they'll just I didn't use it that much anyway, so I'm not going to buy it now.
Yeah. Well, now I got to pay for it because I was using my buddy's password once or twice a month. Yeah, no. What'll happen is the buddy that was getting something in return will cancel it. Just say, fuck it. I'm not going to do that.
Sure.
If I can't get my Showtime, my Showtime password because I lose my Netflix password, then fuck them.
All right. Well, let's take a break.
All right.
And we'll come back and we're going to make that phone call I told you about last night.
Okay, cool.